threat. And one of the things that can't be attacked is your self-custody Bitcoin. And one of the things that can be attacked is the ETF. You can't be exposed to that. That's my view. It's not a good idea. And by the way, that'll hit MSTR too. It'll probably hit other stuff as well. Friends and enemies, welcome back. Canadian Bitcoiners podcast.
Friends and enemies, welcome to the CBP. Wanna be better informed? Listen to Len and Joey. Sponsors taken care of right off the top. Bull, Bitcoin, and easy DNS. The media is feeding the slop. It doesn't matter what topics discussed. Quality entertainment and information you can trust.
That's being planned or at least discussed. You know, we're not going to allow
quality entertainment and information you can trust. Send the guy some value, boost them with some stats. Bitcoin is a scarcity asset. I mean, it's just a fact. Geopolitical, national, down to the local cloud.
Friends and enemies, we are gathered here on this somber occasion to mourn the loss of all our riches. My name is Joey. That's Len. What's going on, buddy? Good to see you.
Are you poor?
I'm more poor than I've been over the last 365 days by the looks of things. I haven't looked at the price, but I think we're red on the last 365 days. I don't know if we're red year to date, but we're red on the last 365 days.
I'm curious. The last time we were under 100K was in like June or something. We talked about it last week. But
yeah.
You know what, Joey? We were down to 75K in April.
I ain't worried. I can believe actually, because there's a lot of newcomers to the space, but I do laugh at the number of people who feel like this is a disastrous price move in Bitcoin. When if you are a 2017 ethos era Bitcoiner, this is nothing. Even if you're a 2020 Bitcoiner, people remember these dips. And I was watching Fred Krueger, who put out a video today, I think as a form of therapy for himself. I see it today or yesterday, but I watched it this morning while I was on the bike. And he made a couple of good points in the video, as much as I disagree with some of the things he says. Talking about how every bull market is like marred by multiple 20% drops and sometimes 25% drops and greater. 30%, 40% over the course of 7 days, 3 days, 12 days, 2 weeks. What are you worried about? Why are people freaking out? Why are people talking about selling and coming back? When we reclaim this moving average, reclaim that wedge, reclaim like I tweeted today. Bitcoin will treat you well if you are patient. It is a global liquidity suck at a moment where we are about to go full like cock out global liquidity pumping. And yeah, it's down a bit, but you're already 25 or 30% off the high. Are you do you really think it's going to go another 50% from here? What number would scare you? If nothing's going to scare you off, then why are you not buying more? Why are you not increasing your DCA? Why are you not working for Bitcoin? Why are you not doing all these things? Our sponsor, Bull Bitcoin, putting out a product today, the Recover Bull. And these guys are working through the bear markets, man. Me and you
don't expect them to do anything else.
I know.
Now, before we go any further,
yeah.
We should talk about the sponsors, because this would be good contact to talk about after this.
I'm going downhill. Easy DNS, best place for you to buy your domain, host your domain, port your domain. Mark, one of the best guys out there. He's doing a lot of the Lord's work over at Easy DNS. He's been getting paid in Bitcoin. He's been taking Bitcoin payments for a long time, and he'll be working through the bear market, as will you, if you use Easy DNS to host your website. He'll protect your data and your customers' data, your clients' data, your mailing list with DomainSure and EasyMail. Don't have to worry about that. If you're a Bitcoiner, lots of options, virtual private server stuff. If you want to run a Bitcoin node, Nostr Relay, all available there. Cheap, easy, and of course, you'll be more than satisfied with the service you get from Mark. EasyDNS.com, CBP Media is the code. You get half off your first round of buys. Don't forget as well that holding domains has proven to be also a relatively lucrative asset over time if you can be patient with those. I'm not suggesting you do it, but there's worse places to spend your money for sure.
Well, it's good that they have the ability or the option to start spending your Bitcoin over there. But how are you going to get some Bitcoin to spend over at EasyDNS? You're going to have to buy it. Or work for it. But one place to buy it, and you can sell it too if you're paper hands these days, is Bull Bitcoin, right? Let's be honest, they're still in operation. With this price drop, wasn't really that much of a drop if you ask me. But Bull Bitcoin's still there and offering you some new products like Recoverable. And I can't really talk much about it. I wanted to learn a little more about it and actually use it, but I haven't because I'm so busy. but it's still a new option available for people out there who want to have a way to recover their Bitcoin seeds, and it gives them flexibility with easy, secure backups and so forth. But nonetheless, what else could you do with Bull Bitcoin aside from buying and selling? Well, you could pay your bills with them. You could send money to somebody, and lots of different options. Look, they're available in different countries, Canada, Western Europe, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Argentina, so forth. They keep expanding as people want their services. They're non-custodial. This is what you want in exchange. These guys, they understand what it is to provide you good service. They are the best in the game. Check them out. If you have not yet opened an account, what the heck are you waiting for? Use our code below. And by doing that, all your buys and sells will be a little bit cheaper for the rest of your life. So do that while you can.
For the rest of your life. For the rest of your life. I love it.
There may be a day when Bull Bitcoin may not be there because they just made enough and they'll pack it up, right? Pack up shop and, right?
You'll only be able to catch the guys at Gibby's Steakhouse in Montreal. Okay. Boost, shall we?
Yeah, only 3 notable boosts this week. God's Deeth, with respect to your SIPs. What's that name? Sip and Rip. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you, bro.
Sir.
Appreciate you. My pleasure.
Top W Cone, he sends in for 250 sats. He says, my home state with a face palm. And the story that he puts in, when he actually sends a story for us to check out quickly, it's Kentucky officials forced to remind residents they can't vote in New York City and Virginia elections. They were reminding people they don't have elections today. So people in Kentucky, they wanted to vote in both the New York City and Virginia elections, but they were unable to do so because obviously they're not in New York City or Virginia. Still, people really wanted to vote. And
well, I know CBP was going to charter a bus down to New York, right, for the vote, but we never ended up doing it.
We could have tipped the scales.
Yeah, we were close.
But we didn't like Cuomo enough to really do that. So
he's a paisan, but he's not my kind of paisan.
He's not likable in my opinion. Anyways, Hammertown OG 2,500 sats. Says Canadian Bitcoiners should rejoice at the reduced taxation on yachts. Now that the tax has been reduced, I could buy that boat I've always wanted. I hope I don't lose my coins in a boating accident. Keep up the good work, fellas. Love the show. Yeah, I'm not going to suggest people go out to buy a boat. If you are, maybe it's a good opportunity to.
Everybody knows what boat stands for, Len. Boat stands for what? Do you know? I think I've told you before. Bust out another 1,000. That's what boat stands for. You never want to be the guy who. Yeah, you don't want to be the guy who owns a boat. You want to be the guy who knows the guy with the boat, but you don't want to be the guy with the boat. One of my college roommates, deceased now, unfortunately, R.I.P. Kyle, God rest your soul, buddy. But I remember being on a boat with his father and him. We were probably 20 at the time, and we were going to. This was in Newmarket, so whatever body of water is around Newmarket, one of these like little bays. We were going to see his girlfriend's daughters. His daughters were our age, I think, a little younger than us, a little older than us. I hope Mac's girlfriend's not listening to this because we were still together at the time. I was out there wild. And anyway, and I'll never forget, he was probably 3 beers deep. Kyle was driving the boat, and he goes, you know what, boys? Women love boats. I'll never forget him saying that to me. I don't know that it's necessarily true in all cases, but I do know chicks love being on a boat. That's a sure thing.
I thought you were going to bring up a Ray Emery story.
No, Kevin. What's that guy's name? The Shark Tank guy. His wife crashed a boat, killed a guy. I shouldn't laugh.
Kevin O'Leary. Yeah,
O'Leary. Yeah. And maybe he was driving it. Maybe she was driving it. There's some controversy about that. We don't know.
Yeah, but there's no connection between that and Ray Emery.
No.
It's just mental illness, right? I think that's what caused that. Yeah. Rest in peace. Yeah.
R.I.P.
Want to go right into it?
Let's do some housekeeping first. I'll level with you, Len. The reason I had an 8 o'clock stop is because I was going to go on Phil Bach's podcast at 8, and he couldn't do it tonight, so we're doing it on Friday. So Phil Bach, B-A-K, you may remember he was on this show before. He was the chair of the NASDAQ for a time, and we had him on, and I'll be on his podcast on Friday afternoon. Len and I are going to be on Rock Paper Bitcoin in a week, next Saturday. Those guys, stick in the head, record at 8 a.m. Eastern on a Saturday. So we're going to be there, coffee for me anyway, in hand, and hopefully an empty bowel. And we're going to talk to Fundamentals and Business Cat about what's going on in their side of the world. Yeah, I think that's all the housekeeping. Do we have anything planned on Wednesday this week? I don't know that we do or not. I talked to Twan on the weekend. Twan, when he's done his install tours, is going to come to the studio here, CBP HQ. We're going to record something for everybody. He's got a lot to talk about on the mining side. some great stuff that I just never considered. For a guy who's got such a polished product, he's always researching ways to make it better. And he wants to share what he's up to with everyone who's been patronizing him. You guys are buying tons of these miners. I cannot recommend the miners enough. I've been running mine, Len, like so hot over the last few days with the window open in this room because it's been cold. Unbelievable. It's just so nice. So nice. The thing runs so efficiently, even at like super high settings because it's starting to cool down. It has been awesome. So if you haven't got one, talk to him for sure.
Yeah, and Sierra's listening that he's in solo mining. He's not in a pool where he's collecting sats every day because that would be wrong, right? And he hasn't yet solo mine and
I haven't
block.
Yeah,
so
I haven't.
Maybe one day. And if he does do that, of course he'll report.
You would know. One of our listeners, actually, I will name him since he was on the show. Dr. Zarabian sent me a message the other day, and he just got a miner from Tuan, and Tuan went over to his place and installed it. And then a couple of weeks later, Len, or a week later, his furnace blew. So guess what? He moved that miner to his kitchen and was able to stay comfortable in a time of distress. He's got a couple of kids and a wife, and everyone was happy. And while that miner was running and heating, he was hashing too. Can't beat it. Telling you, man, this is, you guys, once you see these things in your house, you're not gonna think about anything else when it comes to mining. This is going to be the only thing that you care
This isn't
about.
the segment where he blown though. Like it's later in the show when we do that. So this is more fluffing right now. Yeah. So yeah. So
all right, let's hop into some news. Where do you want to
Okay,
start?
the price. You mean continue on with your price rant because that seems to be the big story of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I was doing a little research today, trying to confirm some things and think about some things, and I just think people are overreacting to the price movement in general because the fundamentals have not changed. If anything, they've gotten stronger. We're seeing, on the cultural side from politicians all over the Western world, including here in Canada, which will be reinforced tonight in all likelihood in our budget vote. There is there's a necessity here for borrowing. And if you look at the 10-year rates here in Canada, they're starting to spike. What does that mean? It means that no one's going to be buying our debt on the market, but we will have to monetize it. So when people talk about printing QE, twist, whatever, like that's what they mean. They mean central banks buying debt and monetizing debt. Now, that said, it's easy to look at the price and think, man, I missed the boat. And like I tweeted today, you and a lot of people, especially when we first started this show, a lot of people used to come onto this show, or I would go on other shows and I would get messages and we would look on Reddit, when we were posting all our episodes to Reddit to try and, gain some traction. Shout out to All Caps for letting us do that, of course. The thing that I think a lot of people said at the time and aren't thinking about now is, man, I wish I had a chance to buy in 2017 at 3,000. Man, I wish I had a chance to buy in 2018 at 5,000. Man, I wish I had a chance to buy in 2019 at 8,000. Man, I wish I had a chance to buy in 2020 at 3,000 during COVID for months, by the way. Man, I wish I had a chance to buy at 20, 30, 40, 58, 58, 58 again, 58 again, and then it gets 60, 70. I wish I had a chance to buy. This is your chance. This is when you should be raising your DCA. Is it true that you're going to have a harder time accumulating one Bitcoin now? For sure. Than you did at 2000? Of course. We all were. We were all having a good time in 2020 and 2017. That was when corn was cheap. You had to get it back then, and the risks were much greater, and you're rewarded for those risks. Now, the only thing stopping you from buying corn and accumulating a serious, life-changing amount and life-changing position is whether or not you have the capital to do so as the economy enters what will probably be a nasty downturn. If you do, great. I also want to point to one other thing, and you can maybe comment on this. I'm sure you'll have a take. I think the 4-year cycle is over. I think it's over because the ETFs are just providing a floor that we've never seen. There's no doubt about this. ETFs, on average, since the day they were started, are buying about a total of 2,000 Bitcoin a day. In the last 3 months, with the price down, they're still buying an average 2,000 Bitcoin a day. So while it is true that there's sell pressure coming, the floor for these things just continues to come up. And, there is some technical analysis and, crayon eaters out there who are talking about, wow, it's, we got to see a liquidity crunch. We got to see a cascading stop loss issue. We got to see maybe that's true. Maybe we see another 20%, 30%, 50% from here. But I really do think the days of being concerned it's going to zero are over. And so if you believe that too, then why do you care what the price is between 125 and 25? Why do you care? What is the likelihood this thing trades at $1 million US inside the next 5 years? Is it 50%? I think it's at least that high. You're getting into territory here where the amount of money being spent on projects all over the world is going to just be astronomical. You're talking about a time when a time when government and AI data centers, even if you don't like AI, let's just call it data centers, since there's going to be a need for these. Data centers, power producers, and governments all need to borrow money to do this stuff today. They're borrowing money to add industries that will eliminate their tax base. What do you think the borrowing is going to look like in 5 years, in 10 years, in 15 years? It's going to be a number that you can't even pronounce. We have not conceived of the number yet. This is at a time when real estate is still in the trillions. M2, if you go down to M3, you're talking 150, 200 trillion dollars. You don't need much of a push to get Bitcoin to $1 million a coin. And the pressure, like we've said on this show over the years, is coming from everywhere. It's coming from the top. It's coming from the bottom. It's coming from the sides. You name it. Everybody is trying to force you into hard assets to protect your wealth. They're not telling you that, but the policies they're enacting are nudging you in that direction. So what are you worried about? You should be buying. I'm buying. Len's buying. Everyone should be buying. Why would you not be buying right now? This is the opportunity that so many of you guys in this chat that I'm looking at, and on Twitter and on other places over the last 4 years, as we watched the price go from 5,000 to 125,000, people have been saying, I wish I had the nuts to do it. Well, find the boys now, get a hold on them, and hit the buy button. Because if you don't, you're going to regret it again in a few years. That is a promise. That is a promise.
Are you hearing this? Like, talk about what's going on with Bitcoin, the price is going down, I should start selling. Have you been hearing this type of talk?
Yes.
I don't know which ETF, treasury companies you've been fucking hanging out with. Because none of them I fucking do is saying this thing. Everybody is as bullish today as they were yesterday, 6 months ago, 1 year ago, 5 years ago. I honestly, I have no idea who the fuck is not bullish today on this. Who has confidence in fiat currency over Bitcoin?
It's crazy.
If you go point to that person, I'm going to say they're a fucking idiot, because that's what they fucking are. Nobody could say, yeah, you know what, the Canadian dollar, US dollar, I have faith in this over Bitcoin. How the fuck could you say that? You just zoom the fuck out. You see what's going on. This thing it's going to go boom one day. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but it will go boom. What the fuck?
By the way, it always goes boom. It's always gone every time. It goes boom every time.
Even if it goes to like 10K or whatever a fucking number, Armageddon. Yeah. I'm still going to fucking buy. My mentality isn't going to change and think, you know what, maybe my Canadian dollar is going to hold value over the next few years. No fucking way. I don't like, just, it's whatever. But there's going to be, look, well, I don't know what the price is now. 92. Blackhawk was,
there you go.
92K as I speak. It's been a drawdown. I fear there could be more. Why? We have those miners out there. They're going to feel pressure. They're going to continue to sell the ones that the marathons and shit like that have been holding. They may want to just liquidate and take advantage of that. It's going to be more sell pressure. Then let's talk about those treasury companies, Bitcoin treasury companies.
Some of them already selling.
Yeah. MicroStrategy isn't.
No.
We'll talk about that in a moment.
I mean, he bought the most he's bought in a long time this week. So I don't know, make of that what you will. I think there's commentary about Saylor that we've obviously, pursued and explored on the show that I still feel pretty strongly about. But, like the thing I would just tell people again, and like the pressure to sell is going to be pretty consistent, because let's face it, who loves when you sell? All your friends who don't own any. Your family who doesn't own any. They love when you sell. Oh yeah, they fucking do. My buddies would, the group chat would explode if I started telling people that I was selling some Bitcoin to
if your average
get out of the market or whatever.
If your average buy was say 25K and you're selling at 90K, how could and I wouldn't suggest this is a good thing to do, but how could anyone, you fucking made the wrong decision for buying Bitcoin. Yeah. But in that case, you almost 4x your money, right?
Yeah.
It's, you can't. So like, that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, fuck them all. I really don't care. Like, and then it's all this FUD that's being. I don't know what the hell is causing this downward trend. The markets haven't taken this.
Markets have been selling off. They have been selling off.
They have?
Yeah, it's been pretty widespread. Yeah. Nvidia earnings is this week, I think, right? Nvidia earnings is it Thursday? So I mean, there's the thing about earnings now, especially with the mags, is the mag sevens pretty much always beat or meet. The problem is their guidance is starting to go lower. So when you have problems with guidance, that's when the market reacts negatively. And so far, I think a lot of these companies are saying, look, you know, we're not going to be beating by 50% anymore. And the thing I fear really about NVIDIA is that NVIDIA is basically holding up the entire global economy. Like if NVIDIA has a bad day, then we'll talk about a big drawdown. Then we're talking about 80K. Then we're talking about 70K. 58K gang will be warming up the cars. You know, they'll be making the signs again, getting the memes ready. You know, NVIDIA is really the thing that's holding up the entire global economy at this point, which is nuts, but hard to dispute that at this stage.
Well, you have this week too. In this past week, there was 2 FUD events.
Yeah.
And I think this might have had a small impact, maybe a large impact. The whole Arkham research thing that's saying that Michael Saylor,
yeah,
they're selling Bitcoin and
low IQ stuff, you know, like I don't know why Arkham, and I even tweeted it like something to keep an eye on. Like these guys, what have they been right about in the last little while? We do a Bitcoin show. Presumably we'd be interested in seeing some of the reports that have proven out to be right. But I couldn't think of anything that we've actually looked at and thought, yeah, this is not only important, but correct. Can you? Going back even a few years? I can't. I cannot. I couldn't tell you.
I have no idea.
So
they say, and it wasn't a small amount. It was 47,000 Bitcoin was the number that was being thrown out. That's a fair bit. And they were like, oh, they didn't come out and say they're wrong, but somebody, Michael Saylor did. Now let's we should point out what Tom is saying in the chat here. Dudes made a fortune on Polymarket from Saylor misinformation. I do think that's true. Polymarket, me, you, and Mark were talking about it, spiked to like 75% or something that Saylor had sold Bitcoin. Was that the Delta One dude?
Well, Delta One is one guy who tweeted it, but a bunch of accounts tweeted it. Zero Hedge, I think, had it. Walter Bloomberg, Delta One had it. A few other pretty significant accounts were tweeting that he sold, and just wasn't true. Just was not true. Was not well researched, not well looked into, not anything.
It went automatically to my mute list after that, the Delta One. So, it just...
These guys just tweet Bloomberg headlines all day. You know, they don't do anything. There's no, impact statements from those accounts. They just tweet whatever comes across the Bloomberg that seems relevant.
You got to monetize the whatever you paid for that Bloomberg turn. What is it, 30K a month or something?
No, 3K a month. 3K a month.
3K? What? What do we fucking have one? We should
get one. Yeah.
Yeah. Could I play Doom on it?
The trade. I got to look at the TradingView Black Market deal every year. The TradingView Black Market deal comes up, and everybody on my feed is like, whether you just look at charts or actually use the charts to trade, the deal is just so good that you'll find yourself on TradingView way more because of the functionality. Maybe this year we'll expense an account, see what we can come up with. We'll become quants.
Well, there was one that one quant that posted that Bitcoin is going to go to 200K in the next 30 days or something, the next 40.
Yeah, the highest IQ guy. Yeah, you can count on seeing Simply, Green Candle, all the other slop accounts tweeting out split photos of the Bitcoin logo and this Chinese guy with 200 IQ talking about how high Bitcoin's going to go. It's amazing. I love Bitcoin Twitter. Speaking of which, wait till you see, by the way. Well, whatever. Wait till you see the thumbnails wait till you see the A/B testing thumbnails I'm going to use for this episode. Some of them are hilarious. I was having a fucking blast making thumbnails for this episode, but the price in the tank.
But there was another piece of FUD that came out this week too.
Yeah.
And it was the whole Jeffrey Epstein stuff and core Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin core contributors. The fact that there's a connection over there. And it came out this past week because the U.S. government released this information at their House Oversight Committee, right? Like, we wait for fucking years to get any sort of information. There's pictures floating around. You have this president campaigning, I'm going to fucking release this stuff on day one. We're now on day what, like 300 and still nothing has been released. And what they are releasing is shit about Bitcoin developers and Jeremy Rubin and shit like that. Like, come on, man. Like, what the fuck? Like, is this? I'm wondering if this is a smear job against Bitcoin as a way to help drive down the price to show that there's a connection between Jeffrey Epstein and what he's done and Bitcoin core developers. And Bitcoin core developers, they already got a lot of bullshit to deal with these days, but now you throw in this. Like, I'm just wondering if this is just, it's a calculated and it's a purposed smear campaign against Bitcoin. I don't know. It seems too much of a connection, too much of a coincidence to me. I look at this and throw this and got this negative, this price action. It's not helping things out, right? Like,
No.
Right. And then you got the CP stuff they're talking that's being held on chain.
Do you want to see the funniest?
It's a fucking pervert if you're running a node.
This is the funniest thing I've seen so far on the Epstein funding Bitcoin core. I've been following this guy Mars on Twitter for a long time. I don't know anything about him, but this video made me laugh out loud when I saw it a few days ago. This is good. Let me make sure you can hear the sound too. Hold on. Let me pull this down. Pull this off. This is such a pain. I've made this mistake doing sip and rip so many times where I start doing it and then I realize it's not catching any of the audio sound. Yeah, okay, that should do it. Here we go.
You kidding me? Epstein funding core? How am I going to explain this at Thanksgiving? Really is all about CSAM, always has been. Only way to protect yourself, don't run a node. Leave it to the pedos. Jeffrey Epstein was Satoshi Nakamoto. I'm calling it now, bookmark. You kidding me?
Well, they did disappear at the same time. Well, when it was a few years after. Right?
Jeffrey Epstein was Satoshi Nakamoto.
Yeah,
it is funny to think about how the Americans are going to explain that Epstein was a Bitcoiner at Thanksgiving over a little turkey and stuffing. I love that. That's so funny. I think that yeah, Mars is funny. Boomer's saying Mars is a real one. He definitely has he has his quirks, but he's pretty funny. I do like stuff.
I would not be surprised if there was any Bitcoin exchange during the whole island ordeal, right? as a way of moving money around without having to. I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin was a medium of exchange, at least with one transaction. Now, it doesn't mean that Bitcoin is tied to this type of bullshit. No, it was just an easy way for somebody that's in a know that could easily move money around. I think that for sure there would have been something that would have been done, but core developers and like fuck that, man. I don't buy this one. Right? Whatever.
What's the poly market on Epstein being Satoshi? Is there a betting market on that? Can somebody in the chat check that out, please? Let me know.
We should create one. I'm not sure what's the mechanism to create something like this, but
we got to figure it out. Can we get a partnership with Poly Market? Is that
no,
I don't think
man.
that would that not pass the sponsor scruples that you have? Probably not. Eh?
What's the shitcoin? Is it Poly? Is that the shitcoin you need to trade on?
I forget. I don't think they have a token. I think they just use stables.
Oh.
Pretty sure. Maybe. I don't know. The only bet I've ever placed on Poly Market was for Polyev to win the election, and Mark did it for me. I don't know how he did it.
There you go. I don't know what to say. Anyways, all right. Quick story here. I'm not sure if you follow the transaction fees in Bitcoin. It's gone down significantly. There's been a collapse in the price of, look at the fees. And I'm still telling people when you use Bull Bitcoin to use on-chain, keep Lightning on the side, but do on-chain for now, because why? Fees are low. But there's a problem with this, right? And I think this is also going to be in hand with the price of Bitcoin going down. It's going to be a collapse in profitability for mining. If you're collecting very little in transaction fees and you're relying just on the reward, and that reward and in nominal terms goes down because the price of Bitcoin goes down, it's going to make it harder to be profitable mining, and they're going to have to either close shop or I don't know. There's going to be a systemic shift with respect to Bitcoin mining if this trend continues. And not just that, what's going to happen moving forward if you're going to want to secure the network? You're going to want to incentivize somebody to mine. And I didn't suggest everybody do this at home with your 256 heat miners, of course, to help secure the network. But that's only going to be a small portion of the overall thing. So I'm wondering if this is going to be a problem moving forward if things don't change. And if they do, then that's great. But if they don't, like, I don't know. I'm looking at this, and this is not looking good. I don't know if you got any input on this.
I don't necessarily. I'm actually looking at mempool right now, and it looks to me like the minimum is a sat all the way across the board, but almost nobody's paying only a sat.
Some are even paying like a fraction of.
Yeah, there's a lot that are fewer, but there's also a bunch that are higher too. Like I'm seeing, especially with the higher amounts, people are willing to pay a bit more per VByte. But
it's the people that are associated with Epstein. They want to move it.
They got to get out. They got to get out.
Yeah.
They can't wait for blocks.
They'll pay whatever.
You got to get in the next block. I don't care what it costs. Yeah, before they find out that me and Stephen Hawking were there together. I we've talked about the mining thing a lot over the years, and I continue to think, and I've said on this show and other shows I've been on, and actually I plan on having a slide about mining, maybe 2 slides about mining at my World Outlook Conference presentation in a few months. It needs to be more decentralized. Like mining should be something that all the users of Bitcoin are doing, not industrial miners. And so the pressure for miners is not going to be, we need to shut off the machines and close up shop. This is why these guys are getting into HPC, because they're going to switch their firepower over to something that makes them money on a more predictable basis than Bitcoin. And it's funny, we talked about in the past, as I roll a yoga ball around here, trying to keep my knee loose. We talked about in the past how, miners are always forced sellers, but the longer we allow industrial mining to proliferate, the worse it'll get. So don't you want to see like a miner blow up now, like a broad miner blow up now, or a broad miner switch over to AI or data now, as opposed to seeing it in 10 years or 5 years? Like, I kind of just want to pull the Band-Aid off, because it is clear that the miners are going to go this direction anyway. So why don't they just all do it soon? You might actually see them do it over the next bear market, right? Like the companies that have done it successfully, Iron is the poster boy. Iron is like a rocket ship in terms of its stock price. I haven't looked at it in the last week or two, but it's done incredibly well. And part of the reason is I think they've been agile and gotten away from Bitcoin mining as the predominant messaging around their business. So I expect to see that continue. The sats per VByte thing is also reflective of monetary network use. Let's face it. If Lightning is the thing that people are using, great, but I'm not convinced that's the case either. So we got to find out what's happening here with transactions and monetary use cases and all this stuff. But for now, I'm not concerned, but I will be concerned in 2 or 3 years if it still looks like that, for sure.
Well, in a few halvings, you're going to be very much concerned.
It's
the price of Bitcoin.
Forget the mining reward. Like the mining reward is one thing, but think about how if the price per transaction is still low, then that means people don't value the Bitcoin. People are not asking for the Bitcoin because it's not about your willingness to spend it. Nobody wants to spend the good money. The question is, when do you have to spend it? Because it's the only thing people accept, and that's got to start accelerating in the next few years. If it doesn't, then there's
spending on chain is really not something people should do, because not just the time, but the fees involved. There's other options you could use that, looking at Lightning, that is far better for doing transactions.
Boomer saying ETFs too is going to negatively impact that, maybe.
But that's to do with just buying it and holding it. If you're talking about transacting in it, an ETF doesn't do that. You can't even fucking redeem in an ETF. Well, actually, there's one you can, right?
Yeah.
I think about it, but who knows what the qualifications
They may add more. I don't know what the story is there. I haven't been following that closely. But
with respect to the Bitcoin, like, who cares who Bitcoin mines? And you know what? I'm thinking about the ones that have energy that is just stranded. It's probably those are the ones that are most likely. And I don't have all the information here. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass, but I think that the way they're probably more inclined to Bitcoin mine than use that energy to pump data centers.
Okay.
I think data centers, I thought data centers would have to be closer to, like, building it up. You have to take longer time. There's more capital. You have to have quick, low latency internet, lots of bandwidth, shit like that. For Bitcoin mining, you could be very agile. You could just throw
not really. No, I disagree. No? Because jurisdictionally, the laws prevent Bitcoin mining. They don't prevent AI, right? So there's a push now all over the place. We're seeing it in Canada, which is maybe the most difficult energy jurisdiction of all of the modern democracies, save for some of these retarded EU countries. this is one of the most difficult jurisdictions to operate in if you're a Bitcoin miner. But as a data and AI player, now you're starting to see the government become more amenable to that. And so
I think that's
the
energy, though. Like,
well,
is this something that is in northern? That's what I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
Is this something that is in northern Alberta, which you're far away from anywhere that could actually use it? Or you could even go, if you want to use a different.
Why can't a data center use it?
I don't know. I think you can use it as long as the infrastructure is there to be set up. It just the way I always envision it, and I could be wrong. Just get those. I forget who Steve Barber. What does he sell?
House shuts.
I think it's just easy to slap one down or slap a bunch down next to an oil field and go from there. Is there the equivalent for AI centers for data centers? I don't know. And if that thing doesn't exist, then that's why those stranded energy, anything that's stranded energy, is probably more inclined to mine Bitcoin.
Okay, let me ask something. How do you make mining the most inviting use of the time it takes you to navigate the stranded energy, procurement bureaucracy? Because you're gonna have to go through a process anyways. So how do you make mining the thing that makes people want to do it? Because right now I just don't see that as being the case. It's hard to get the miners. You have to reload all your hardware every 4 years, basically, to stay competitive.
Why would you have to reload hardware every 4 years?
You got to upgrade you got to add firepower. So
it could be every 2 years.
Well, whatever.
And it could be
like it's a lot of capex. Where AI, those chips are more easily produced, right? They're not as specialized. Like the H1000s or H2000s from NVIDIA, you can get them. I don't want to say easily, but easier than you can get fucking ant miners, right?
But do you know that if you could put on one of those trailers that have all the equipment and just
I don't know. That's
why I said I claim ignorance in that. I do know that you can with Bitcoin mining. So somebody would have to pull out a chart and look at, okay, right now we're earning zilch on this stranded energy. We're either flaring it, or we're burning it or whatever. But we could combust it, and with that we could make some money from that. Now, how much is the money? You mentioned a good thing there. The capex, it's very costly. So where's the break-even point and shit like that? And then you have to deal with the halvings every 4 years on top of that, and that's going to decrease your how much you're going to earn. And then you also have the price volatility of Bitcoin. Somebody's look at this. You know what? This thing is unstable, and so we can't really predict what's going to happen moving forward.
Yeah,
so, I don't know. I don't really give a shit who the fuck mines Bitcoin. If they want to do it, fine.
But I think our preferences are aligned. That I'd rather see more broad mining at different levels. Like I got a BitAxe, I got a 256 heat unit, I got whatever. I'd rather see that than another pop up.
Yeah.
But the big problem though is that now, like if you look at the OpenAI story from the last week or two, I didn't cover this in Sip and Rip, but I thought about covering it. It's just too long to really get into on a show like that. These guys are asking basically for governments to take a strategic interest in the infrastructure. And they're saying it's energy infrastructure now, but soon it will be hardware infrastructure too, under the guise of national security. And they may be correct. That may not be a bad thing, that governments need that. Like I said, I've kind of softened my opinion on that over the last month or two. But the question then becomes like, do governments who take a stake in the name of national security into AI data centers or other HPC use data centers, are they ever going to let those guys mine Bitcoin? Like what would be the rationale for a government to say, yeah, we want to have a 10% stake in your data center, 10% stake in your company, and you're also going to be allowed to mine Bitcoin when the price and the financial incentive warrants it, when it makes sense. You're going to be able to pivot here and there. I don't think that's true, but it seems to me like these guys need money, and they're going to get it from the government here, US, everywhere else, and it's another roadblock. It's another issue with the incentive structure and the laws around some of this stuff that are somehow still in Canada becoming more and more tight, as opposed to the opposite, which is what we're seeing in the States.
Well, we have. So, I'm not sure if the Paris Agreement also has to. There's a lot of moving parts here. Yeah, that we have to deal with, and
we have to deal with. Not every government has to deal with them, but we have to deal with them.
Correct. It says a Canadian, at least when I say we, it's just the nation does.
Yeah,
and So, and you also have a government that is more inclined to deal with and to lean towards climate change and energy efficiency and alternative energies and renewables and stuff like that. So take that all into consideration. Canada's probably not going to be a major player with Bitcoin mining at all moving forward. I think that is just,
which is terrible because the climate here is so friendly to Bitcoin mining at the cold, right? But we just refuse to do it. We refuse. You know, whatever. It's fine. I got my heater. You got your heater. You guys in the chat have your heaters. That's all you can do.
Yeah. You talked about this a few times, the slow money stuff, right? Harvard University.
Yeah.
They bought way more of Bitcoin.
I love that term, slow money. ETF. I can't remember where I heard that or if I made it up. I don't know, but I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about it. It was another almost 5 million shares of IBIT.
They're buying. They're all buyers, Len. Like, are you not like a convert to the importance of the ETFs in the price?
No, I don't give a shit about it's asking for it's saying that I'm happy the price is going up because there is a Pandora's box that's been opened.
My wife's here. Let's all welcome my wife who doesn't want to be on camera.
Hello.
She's going to pottery. I got to take the baby monitor. Thanks. You don't want to say anything? Do you know what the price of Bitcoin is? I asked her what the price is. She said super low. That's what I've been saying around the house all day. Price is way down. We're gonna have to go to the food bank soon. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. So like to go back to what I'm happy ETFs are there. I don't really give a shit. I mean, it's opening up Pandora's box, as I said, and I can't cheer for it because it's raising the price of Bitcoin. That's not really, nobody's using Bitcoin the way it's not even fucking Bitcoin. It's fucking totally fiat. Let's fucking be honest.
People think that this is an act by you, by the way. When I went to the conference, people are like, does Len really hate? Like, do you guys really just play? Do you guys play good cop, bad cop on the show? Or is Len? I said, no, man. Len is hardcore.
Look, the ETFs, I don't give a shit that it exists. I give a shit that people are saying this is like, I'm going to buy into it. Like, all you're doing, anybody that does this, is you're justifying the use of fiat because you're using a fiat system. You're using the fiat, everything to do with fiat to do it. Bitcoin, if you look at all the properties that come along from it, you're stripping all the good qualities of Bitcoin except for one, which is, and I don't even know if this is a proper, is the number go up. That's it. There's no scarcity with ETFs. You can't hold it yourself. You can't verify it. You can't move it across border. There's so many fucking good things about Bitcoin that make Bitcoin what people want to buy it, and an ETF isn't it. So all the more power for Harvard for buying it. I hope they get rugged one day, because they're obviously going to use a custodial for this shit, right? Who the fuck's who's their brokerage? Who does IBIT hold the Bitcoin with, by the way? I mean, I don't even know.
Who knows?
Is it Fidelity? They do it themselves?
It's got to be Fidelity.
Fucking just rug it all, man. Let's just fucking.
You just want to see this whole thing burn. Let's just set it on fire. Let's burn the underbrush here, and then get back to
start from scratch. And this is what you have to get. This every few years. You remember we went through the NFT craze, and then
that was the best. Remember we did a segment on Packy McCormick talking about how squiggle NFTs were going to be the new thing. What a retard! What a retard!
And it's bullshit, and everybody knew it was bullshit, but people still bought into it. And people got wrecked, and once they got wrecked, they realized, oh shit, there's something better. I could actually hold my own keys with Bitcoin. And now you're going through this same fucking exercise with Bitcoin treasury companies. Oh, I could buy into this. I'm going to make fucking bank. It's going to go 10x. And you're down 99% in some cases. Like if you look, I think in Naka is 99.
Naka, by the way, in trouble for another reason because it looks like they didn't get their SEC filings in on time. Like that's disastrous, man. I tweeted that today. You can look at my timeline for that story. I got to dig into that maybe for Sip and Rip this weekend. But
a lot of companies are delayed.
Yeah, I'm not trying to like they're in big trouble. I think they're in big trouble over there. It looks like it to me.
They're going to start selling, and then you're going to have the added fucking sell pressure to Bitcoin. But what I'm trying to get at, my original point is, all this shit is just, it's something else that it's Bitcoin adjacent in a fucking shit can, and you just fucking leave it alone. Let somebody else get wrecked, because when they do, they realize, oh shit, I should have just went and fucking held Bitcoin all along, and that was the right thing to do.
What do you make of this comment here? There's a few people in the chat. I'm not going to say your names because for whatever reason, YouTube now has your @ handle instead of your screen name. But a Boomer sums it up here pretty well. This SH Burner in there too, talking about it. Using your TFSA to DCA into an ETF isn't a bad play if you pull the money out to buy on chain. You have a big UTXO, and then Burner saying that the TFSA and RSPs are good use cases for the ETF. This is ultimately this is ultimately at the core of the discussion. This is where we have a fundamental disagreement that's irreconcilable.
It's 100% fiat. If you have total confidence in the system, do it.
Why do you need Bitcoin at all then, right? Yeah.
Correct. And that's why I buy Bitcoin, is my confidence in the system. It continues to wane every day. And for me to buy something like that, I have to believe in the currency. I got to believe in the brokerage house. I got to believe in my bank. I have to believe in all these fucking things that could go wrong. And then I don't want to do that. I just rather just buy my own Bitcoin. I understand I'd have to pay cap gains. I understand all the bullshit that goes along with holding Bitcoin. But you know what? I have it. It's mine. And there's so much good that comes along with, like, I don't have to fucking talk about the greatness of Bitcoin, what it is. Everybody knows what it is right now. Can I strip away the good qualities?
Yeah, can I ask you at what point if the ETFs become redeemable for on chain, are you in then?
No,
it's still out.
So okay. I'm gonna first.
What is the line? Help me with the line. Show me
that I will be happy for the ETFs.
Yeah,
there is no line.
Oh,
why? So I have to keep my money in fiat.
Mm-hmm.
I have to leave it in a bank.
Mm-hmm.
I have to move that money to like Wealthsimple or whatever, and then I have to have them buy Bitcoin buy the ETF, which will then buy Bitcoin with that, and then they're gonna store my Bitcoin. Like, there's so many fucking things along the chain that could go wrong. And then when I want to get my money, say I want, thing is fucking collapsing, I need my money ASAP. I gotta sell. I gotta wait for that money to go to my bank, and I have to go get that money out of my bank. And we've seen enough times.
You have to talk to the foreign worker at the teller desk. Yeah, that too.
We've seen enough fucking evidence to show why the money is not yours. Why?
You're getting some pushback in the chat here. I'm not going to put all the comments up, but you're getting some pushback in the chat.
I don't give a shit. In the end, I can sleep good at night, and I don't give a fuck what people do. But if you ever get burned, you're gonna see me laughing on the side of the road and saying, "Look at that fucking fire over there! Look at that! That's a fucking look at that accident! That's a fucking disaster!" And I'll be enjoying things. Do what you want, but I have, no faith in this.
Man,
the Singapore dollar
wedge, baby. Nice one. All right, where do you want to go next? Where else we going?
Even you want to know that we're at the top of the cycle? I think it's still on the way down. Is CPP bought $80 million of MSTR?
Amazing. They like that. What can you say? Are they so CPP famously underperforms? Friend of the show, Millennial Moron, talks about this a lot. We've talked about it on the program too. That was the impetus for getting him on, because I was thinking about this, and he had already put out a couple of great videos and put out a few more after we got together on CPP. They underperform everything. They don't do their due diligence, and they bought a bunch of MSCR. Now, one of two things is probably true here. Either they want the Bitcoin exposure, or they think that it's going to hit the S&P. And I think both things could be true, or both things could be false. I don't know, but I think one of those things is probably the reason. It does give me pause, though, that a pension fund that has underperformed even its own suboptimal benchmark is buying stocks that are pretty important for the price of Bitcoin long term. So I have my doubts about this. I don't love it. I don't love it. What else did they buy? What else is in that that release? Did you look at the rest of them?
No, I just saw this, and this came very late in the day for me that I saw this. I didn't have much time to investigate. But I think I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, my God, like, we're in for a real fucking downward trend. If the CPP, the Canadian Pension Plan, is purchasing MSTR, fuck, man, it's going to be like 20K by next week. It's 20K. It's gonna be 20K. My
Bitcoin Treasuries, BitcoinTreasuries.net saying it. I gotta look and see. Yeah, it's funny. I gotta look and see what else they bought. It's not great. That's not great. I don't think that's good. That's not a good omen. You're right. That's bad. It's like seeing a black cat. You gotta start thinking about what you're gonna do next.
And let's talk about another top of the cycle moment. Leap Therapeutics. Previously, they were LPTX on the NASDAQ, and they have been rebranded to Cypherpunk Technologies Inc. with a new ticker CYPH, also on the NASDAQ. And you might be knowing where this is going. they're going to be a treasury company, but there's a twist with that, right?
Okay,
they're not going to be a Bitcoin treasury company. No. They're going to be a fucking Zcash treasury company, top of the cycle.
Yeah, we got to sell. Well, we got to end this stream. I'm getting all my hardware wallets from all over the place, and I am getting ready
just
to
fucking
sell.
selling everything.
I got to sell, liquidate.
Remember not too long ago that companies were even buying NFTs? We laughed about this.
Remember they're buying World of Women NFTs for their treasury?
Yes! That's the one, right?
That was the bottom of that. Was that the top? That was probably that's like the 69K.
That was top, man. Yeah, that was top, right? This is like, I'm wondering how those purchases went, by the way. Like,
what do you mean? What do you mean? How did it go?
Fucking zero, right?
Oh my god, I love it.
So,
by the way, breaking news here: budget 2025 passes. The vote, Len, 170 to 168.
So more than a few people abstained.
Oh yeah.
Sounds like the whole NDP caucus abstained, right? Or am I wrong?
Pretty tough. The Green Party agreed to vote for it. Not great, man. Not great. Buy Bitcoin. Canadians are going to need it more than most, I think, over the next few years.
Buy an ETF. You know that it's going to be covered, and the bank, when you go to the bank to get it, they have that money to give it to you. No fucking doubt.
Do you think if you sell your Bitcoin for fiat, the bank would give it to you? Like what do you're planning on using it? Obviously, you're not planning on selling it to fiat then using it. Okay, yeah, sure. All right.
Yeah, there's at least for me, there's no point. Everybody's different. I have no use to sell it for fiat because then I'd have to spend it immediately. I'd rather just use that to buy whatever.
Yeah,
that's my goal.
Who's Crypto Dad in the chat telling me we can meet and talk blockchain, bro? I don't want to talk blockchain.
No, I would love to talk blockchain with you, Crypto Dad. Yeah, let me know. I mean, we can meet somewhere, maybe in Burlington or something like that. I'll be more than happy to chill out with you.
No.
Crypto Dad. If you want to, we'll have a nice chat about this.
Oh God,
this blockchain stuff. I'm curious. let me know what you put on the blockchain. It might interest me. Let's talk about another I got scammed post that was tossed up on the Bitcoin subreddit. And I shake my head every time I read this type of shit. And it's not like we have enough resources out there to learn from examples and know how to avoid being scammed, but this motherfucker didn't. But here we are.
He's an innovator, this guy.
Oh, he's outside Kingston, Crypto Dad. You know what? If you want to take the trek out here west, of course, I'm not going to pay for anything. I'm going to pay for myself, and you pay for it. It'll be more than happy.
CBP is not lucrative enough to expense guest travel yet. Anyway, let's talk about this guy who got scammed.
Talk blockchain. Fuck that, man. No, we'll meet at the Tim Hortons nearby. And so back to the guy that got scammed. And it's another free lesson for people out there that want to learn. And free education. So thank you to his stupidity. He goes by the name of on Reddit, Freshmans1, MANS1, so Freshmans1. If you want to check it out. And he writes, I was such an idiot. The scammers masked their number as the police. I know I shouldn't have put my seed phrase on the website, for fuck's sakes. I was just caught up in the moment. They were so convincing. The second caller claimed that they were from CoinCover. Got me to type my scene phrase into a fake ledger website. Looking back, I was so stupid. If someone was telling me that this story, I would think that what an idiot to do this. Just a warning. So basically, he's lost everything. He obviously is a moron. It looks like he is a Ledger user, right? Because his email was somewhere online. He believed this was a Ledger website, so I assumed he had some Bitcoin, maybe some shitcoins. And what can I say? This stuff, it's fucking nuts. Like, just be very careful, right? Like, I don't know.
Never put your seed phrase anywhere. Never a keyboard, never a phone call, never anywhere, ever.
Look,
ever.
We got to blame Ledger for something here because they held on to these emails and it was leaked. So I would like to get some clarification, maybe an apologies from Ledger. Maybe the What Ledger Did podcast too could give an apology as well.
That podcast is defunct now. It's defunct. I don't think they sponsor What Bitcoin Did anymore.
Finally, they made a good.
Well, because what's his face bailed, McCormick bailed, so I think that's probably enough to not do it anymore.
So this guy, I did some searching on his posts. It looks like he was a younger guy trying to start his life because he was posting a review of shopping for a wedding ring, right? And so
brutal. Brutal.
I hope for his sake, I hope his wife is real and not AI generated content by some scammer trying to get access to his fiat. Right? If he fell for this, maybe his wife is not real, and she's. So I also want to point, he seemed like he fucked up. This is not the first time he fucked up. The first time he fucked up, and I gotta give credit. It looks like he fixed it. He said he spent all his inheritance from his lost parents on drugs and booze. And so then he said he finally cleared up his act after many years. So it looks like this guy was living a hard life.
Yeah.
And he made some poor decisions along the way. And this is
I sympathize with the story, the reclamation story. But yeah, it's tough. I hope he doesn't turn back to the poison. But
so nobody out there, nobody should enter in their 12 or 24 words on a website. If anybody calls you thinking you think it's the police, you think it's IRS, CRA, or whatever fucking
isn't the default response, Len, to like tell them to come to your house? Is that not a default response?
No,
like I've seen this a million times. No, like if the police want to talk to you on the phone, you say, if you want to talk to me, come to my house or I'll come to the station, but we're not talking on the phone. That should be I think that's been the case for a long time because there's been a lot of, non-crypto related cop scams over the years. And I always kind of knew that was what the recommended course of action was, right? But I guess this guy just not thinking, and tough to see.
Let's talk about last story. Wolf Capital CEO Travis Ford. This guy's going to prison for 5 years. And the problem for him is that while he was running, according to the DOJ, a fraud scheme, and he was promising investors returns up to 574% annually. I don't know. To me, that's a red flag right away. But what the fuck do I know? Anyways, so Wolf Capital Crypto Trading. It was a crypto company. It raised almost $10 million from 2,800 investors. That's an average of 3,300 per person. And between January 2023 and August 2023, he promoted this scheme where he was able to deliver returns of about 1% to 2% per day.
Is that a lot?
Well, I can see why Warren Buffett stepped down as a CEO.
What was Bernie Madoff's return?
Not even close to this, right? What does Warren Buffett try to get from his company? Or did he have like a goal of 5% a year?
I don't know.
Whatever it is. Like, I can see why he had to step down, because this guy offering 1% to 2% per day, Buffett cannot fucking compete. His record is trash. As a result, this guy at Ford, he did what any scammer would do. He diverted the investor funds to benefit himself and his buds. And it sounds a bit like these Bitcoin treasury companies, if you ask me, and how their executives are raping and pillaging the company at the expense of shareholders. But I digress. Ford, he pleaded guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud. He's 60 months in prison in order to pay $1 million. And also,
is that a long enough sentence, you think? A lot of lives impacted by that. No, it kind of feels like it's a little light. I think. What did the samurai guy get? The samurai guy got 5 years too, right?
Yeah, he did. So maybe we have a floor here. You could scam people. What did CZ get? It was like 6 months or less, right?
Yeah, he's got a lot of firepower, that guy. I'm not surprised he didn't.
Fucking Trump came with the bat for him and decided to pardon him. Didn't even know what the fuck he is. I like this guy.
Man.
What the fuck is he, by the way? Initials.
Yeah, not sure who he was, but he's a good guy. A lot of people telling me he's a good guy.
Well, yeah. Where's that crypto dude? I want to fucking have a chat with him.
Crypto dad is at the local Tim Hortons now. He's running a blockchain meetup.
I still want to meet you.
Boomer's not far from him, so I hope Boomer goes to see him. Boomer's a missionary out there, pun intended. Okay, let's talk about the other side of the news coin here. We are going to break on audio till tomorrow, and we will see the rest of you guys in a second on the video side live. There's a couple hundred people watching this, and all of you are on Twitter. Go to YouTube and join the chat. The chat is buzzing. It'll be more fun for you on YouTube than it will be on Twitter. So don't be shy. Head over there and enjoy the community, the CBP community, which we've built brick by brick over the last 5 years. Anyway, we'll see when we see you.
Don't be an ETF investor.